So self-worth, defined by the Merriam-Webster Dictionary as, quote, a feeling that you are a good person who deserves to be treated with respect, unquote. But how does one develop their self-worth? We've got certified self-worth coach and author, Kalina Doctor, here to tell us just how we can do that. And we're going to talk to her a little bit about her own journey and her book. New book?
Yes, really new.
New book, Oops, I Broke a Nail. Looking very fancy there with that shovel. We're going to talk to you about that in a little bit. But certified Christian life coach. Tell me what that means.
So we know that coaching is now a very popular career, internationally, and it has come to Jamaica. And so we have different coaching bodies, Christian Coaches Alliances, and different groups in Jamaica who are now certified to teach coaching to people who are interested. And so I did my certification, and it's not just coaching or life coaching, but specifically Christian life coaching. So what we do is we don't just help people to find themselves, but using the truth of God's word and all of that.
How does certification work? What
So
kind of process is that?
You go, you sign up, and you have international coaching bodies. Right now, Crystal Day, she is a founder of Christian Coaches Alliance. She is qualified to certify coaches, and you go to her course, whether it's 2 days or however long, and you go through the process, the learning process, and you get your certificate. And
Okay, so this is where you are now. The back of your book says, roll up your sleeves, ladies, we're about to start digging. I'm curious about the title, Oops, I Broke a Nail. Tell me about the title behind the book.
So when I was growing up, how Jamaicans like to say you're stush or you're girly. I had a reputation for being very stush. And so I realized that even when I was at school, like I could not learn if I was not primed and ready and face wash and lip gloss and everything. So I realized that I was that type of person, a very girly type of person. And when you're seen as that type of person, it's almost as if, it's easy for others to think that it's easy to take advantage of you or to step on you in some type of way. And so this title came about because I wanted others to say, oops, I broke a nail, not only because the book is targeted for females, and when we wear nails and you're breaking your nail is synonymous with hard work or doing some type of fighting. And so I wanted to say, we are ready to fight despite the fact that we're females. We're going to fight for what's ours. And as the subtitle says, dig yourself free from past hurt, discover your true self-worth. So it's in that digging process where you may end up breaking a nail, but it's still important to fight.
I find it interesting that you spoke about, how you grew up and prim and proper at school and all the rest of it, because if I'm reading your story right, you were, this says, this inner city youngster posed as a wealthy heiress just to fit in with her classmates from upscale communities. So you were, this prim and proper child, but you were really trying to create a veneer.
Yeah.
Is that right? To kind
Yes.
of.
And that is why I wanted, through my own story, to teach young girls about self-worth. Why is it important? And not just self-worth in the sense of, oh, yes, you must value yourself, but in the fact that whose are you? Who are you and whose are you? We belong to God. Our bodies are God's temple. And so, yes, I grew up in the inner city. And even today, a lot of persons, when I go to and share my story and tell them that I grew up in Maxfield Avenue, went to Russell and all of that, they can't believe, because that is seen as looking a particular way, if you don't look rough and tough. And so it's important for me to share that when I went to high school, Holy Childhood High School, it was a new world for me. And I found like just paved walkways and children from all walks of life. And so I wanted to fit in amongst those kinds of people. And I didn't want people to know that I was from this type of background. So I didn't value myself. I didn't value my story. I didn't value my worth.
So you had no self-worth.
I had no
self-worth.
self.
And that led you to depression.
Yes.
And how did you climb out of that?
And so when I realized that I was sinking into depression because I didn't know whose I was, I didn't know what my purpose was on life. And so I started making my own personal situations and the difficulties I was going through at home just overwhelmed me, and I did not know what to do. And miraculously, this is why I wanted to write the book, because I did not get help out of depression, and a lot of depression goes undiagnosed.
Yes.
A lot of young people are depression, and 90%, the stats show that over 90% of depression starts with something in your childhood.
Yes.
And so, fortunately for me, it wasn't until I happened upon a church, because I didn't grow up going to church like that, and they started teaching us about you belonging to God, what's your purpose, your calling, and why you shouldn't kill yourself if you're having a bad week, a bad month. Why it doesn't stop there? Why should I go on? And I realized that, like me, you have family and parents who love you, but whether they're working or they just don't know how to help you with what you're going through, you end up feeling not heard, misunderstood,
Lost.
and you don't know what to do.
Which is where you come in.
Which is where
as a
I come
coach.
in,
Right,
yes.
right. But first you have to realize that something is wrong. So what are those symptoms that will lead you to know that we need to call somebody like Kalina to talk to?
Just segregation, like keeping yourself away. That was it for me. 1 minute you're happy among your friends, the next minute you're in a sort of black hole. You're sad, you don't know why you're sad, you don't know why something is wrong, or just lashing out, aggression. For me, it was aggression. I wanted to fight anybody who said anything bad to me, and I didn't understand why. Or you're just crying one moment by yourself, like different behaviors where you separate yourself from the crowd. You know, there's a very popular phrase in Jamaica right now where they said the enemy loves to divide and conquer. So he just segregates you from your family. You feel like everybody is your enemy, your parents, your friends. And so those are signs. And even for mothers, like I do a lot of mentorship even back at Holy Childhood, and the parents just don't know how to relate. They don't know where to start, and we as young people feel like we can't talk to our parents.
Yes, and the kids themselves are under added pressure with this advent of social media.
Oh, Lord.
Not living up to, not feeling, you know, like they're worth anything.
Exactly.
So that's another layer that parents have to go through. And so do you coach kids as well as parents, as adults?
No, yes, my area of where I love to like where I specify is young people.
Okay.
From like 12 up to 18, because I found that those are the years where you really need to get in. So I really target young women. The book is written for young adolescents as well.
Okay. Okay, so some of the chapters, one says dumped,
Yes.
rebel without a cause. Chapter 3 says God doesn't call the qualified. Trying to go through. He qualifies the called, and then you have in brackets saved or slaved. Tell me what folks, you said this is written for young people.
Yes.
What are they going to take away?
So in the book, it's very raw, very honest, because I don't want people to think that young people don't know. We're living in a very sexed up society, and so I was very honest in the book about my own sexuality and having sex at a young age, and it didn't matter that I was afraid of beaten or afraid of my parents. I still did that. Why did I do that? Understanding, and I use a lot of scriptures that help me. Things like there is now no condemnation, words that I felt were affirmed me, saying those over and over. So in the book, they can expect brutal honesty. I've been told that it's very funny. I've been told that people have cried. I share a lot of my background growing up to me poor, and for every story that is shared in the book, it's backed up with the truth of God's words, because I want people to know that God's word is relatable and that it actually works, and this is how it can apply to your life. So that's what they'll find.
All right, we have to go, Kalina. Book available where?
So the book is available on Amazon. You can go online, Kindle, all of that at Book Ophelia on Hope Road and the Kincaid Pharmacy downtown.
Fantastic. Wish
Yes.
you all the best with it. And on this certified coach, self-worth coach and author, Kalina Doctor, with us this morning. The book is called Oops, I Broke a Nail. If you need to have a read, please go ahead and pick one up. Still to come, we look at sugar waxing as a new beauty trend. Also, in Girl Talk, we're going to discuss wedding traditions that millennials are ditching, and NTD ingredientes tantalize our taste buds with some sweet treats. That and a whole lot more after the break. But first, we take a quick break for news.